Pace Domine, pace populo tuo, ne in aeternum iras calis nobis.
Welcome, and thank you for participating in our very first 6-week Lenten series on worship. Every Lent, the Church invites us to begin this holy season with a meditation on a gospel passage describing Christ's entry into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights of prayer and fasting. In every one of these passages, Satan tries to lead Jesus away from fulfilling his mission through various temptations. In this Sunday's gospel, after leading Jesus up a very high mountain and showing him all the kingdoms of the world in their magnificence, Satan says, "All these I shall give to you if you will prostrate yourself and worship me." It's no surprise that Satan uses worship as a source of temptation. After all, one could argue that the history of mankind has been a struggle for a proper understanding of what it means to offer authentic worship to God. From the beginning of creation, worship has been a part of God's plan. This is demonstrated in the creation of the Sabbath day as the fulfillment of God's work. Creation is ordered towards Sabbath, towards worship. Creation is ordered towards giving thanks to God for his goodness and his blessings. Man especially was created for worship, since he is made higher than all the other creatures in God's very own image and likeness. However, once sin entered into the world, it damaged man's relationship with God. Man no longer knows how to worship God. His ability to offer himself as a gift to God needs to be restored. This is why the sin that immediately followed Adam and Eve is the sin of Cain. Cain struggled to give an appropriate offering to God, and he killed his brother Abel out of jealousy for making a better offering. When God led the Israelites out of Egypt and into the desert, he did so to teach them how to offer him proper worship, knowing that if they learned to worship him well, they would live well in the promised land. Their time in the desert was one of preparation and formation so they could become the people that God wanted them to be. However, once in the promised land, the Israelites struggled with their mission and identity and fell constantly into idolatry, worshiping false idols instead of the one true God. God sent various prophets reminding the Israelites to turn back to proper worship, encouraging them to be faithful to the covenant that God had established with them. You see, Satan knows that if he can disorient man's ability to worship God, man will never be able to grow in grace, and man will always remain far from the Lord. Satan also knows that if he can get Jesus, the Son of Man, to worship him, humanity will never be able to recover what was lost in the garden at the beginning of creation. Thankfully, Jesus is our Messiah, and he cannot be fooled by the deceptions of the evil one. Jesus knows that his mission is to restore man's proper worship of God. As we begin our Lenten series on worship, the first principle we must begin with is that God desires to show us how to worship him. We must let the Lord teach us how to worship him. We must put aside any preconceived ideas we have of what we think it means to worship God and allow the Lord to show us how to do so. As the Israelites were led into the desert to learn how to worship God so as to live well, we must be led into the desert to rediscover the joy and the fulfillment of what it means to offer true and perfect worship to God the Father through his Son, Jesus Christ. Today, we invite you to read a short passage from Pope Benedict XVI's famous book, The Spirit of the Liturgy. Following this reading, we invite you to spend some time in silent prayer, reflecting on how God is searching for an open heart from us so that he can teach us how to worship him well. Along with the reading are some questions to help you with this process. After some silent time for reflection, if you have decided to participate in this study as a group, we invite you to take some time to share your thoughts using the questions as your guide. Following your reflection, we invite you to pray together the prayer given for this session. This is a prayer that we encourage you to pray every day this week. May God bless you abundantly on this Lenten journey.
Pace Domine, pace
Pace populo